Welcome to today's Explainer. We've got a massive paradigm shift to talk about today regarding how people actually find information online. Remember when SEO was, well, beautifully simple? You'd pick a target keyword, write a massive 2,000-word blog post, stuff it with keywords until it was barely readable, and then just kind of sit back and let Google send you traffic. Well, actually, scratch that. Those days are officially 100% over. The digital landscape has fundamentally shifted. So today, we're diving into a blueprint from Fastgrowing.ai that shows us exactly how to rank on Google, TikTok, and AI chatbots using something called multi-surface SEO.
All right, consider this your wake-up call. If your B2B marketing team is out there right now, still exclusively optimizing your content for Google, you are basically invisible to half of your market, literally 50%. The search journey has completely fragmented. Buyers aren't just saying, let me Google it anymore. They're taking entirely different paths to find solutions, which means, frankly, your content needs to be waiting for them at a bunch of different finish lines.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap. First, the new search reality. Then, winning visual social search. Building AI machine trust, Google's EEAT evolution, and we'll wrap up with the multi-surface workflow. Let's kick things off with part 1, the new search reality and the fragmented buyer journey.
We all know the legacy strategy, right? It was very single surface, keyword stuffing giant blocks of text just to hit Google page 1. And honestly, it left brands incredibly vulnerable to every little Google algorithm update. But today, Gen Z and millennials are using TikTok and Instagram as their primary search engines. Meanwhile, high-intent B2B buyers are just bypassing standard search entirely. They're jumping straight into AI, like ChatGPT, Perplexity, and Gemini to build out their vendor shortlists. So this SEO 2.0 strategy means we have to shift our formats. We're moving away from just walls of text and heavily into video, structured data, and entity proof. And by entity proof, I basically mean leaving digital evidence everywhere that proves you are exactly who you say you are. The old tactics, they're just not going to cut it anymore.
And that brings us right to our core definition here. Multi-surface SEO is not, and I repeat not, just basic omnichannel marketing. Omnichannel is just, blasting the same content everywhere. This is totally different. Multi-surface SEO is about structuring your data and content specifically so the highly unique search algorithms on video platforms, traditional engines, and AI chatbots actively retrieve and rank your brand. It's a targeted, structural approach built for algorithms that are competing with one another.
Moving right along to Section 2, winning visual social search, focusing on TikTok and YouTube as visual answer engines.
Look, social media platforms are no longer just for viral dance trends. B2B decision makers are actively using TikTok and YouTube right now for software comparisons and education. So the key takeaway here is this. When a user searches for a solution on these platforms, there is no way they want to read a dry corporate white paper. They want a fast, highly authoritative, 60-second visual explanation. Remember, algorithms on these visual platforms don't just look at metadata, they actually listen to your audio, and they read the visual text right off the screen to categorize what your content is about. So, how do we actually fix our strategy for this? First off, we have to stop treating social platforms like a one-way megaphone for engagement and start treating them like the search engines they are. The tactics are super specific. You need to put your target keywords natively on the screen as text overlays. You have to literally say those exact keywords out loud in the first 3 seconds because those auto captions absolutely matter to the algorithm. You've got to write keyword-rich descriptions, and you need to answer specific user queries directly in tight, punchy, 60-second formats.
Now, let's transition to our third section and our second major battleground, building AI machine trust and getting cited by AI chatbots.
Generative AI search, it's a whole different ballgame. Large language models, or LLMs, could not care less about your keyword density. They will straight up ignore generic corporate press releases. Now, what's really fascinating here is this concept of machine trust. To get cited as a top recommendation by an AI, the engine needs to see that your brand is the undisputed, verified entity tied to that specific solution. It has to actually trust the machine-readable signals out there pointing back to you.
I love this quote because it hits the nail right on the head. LLMs are not looking for web pages. They are looking for verifiable facts. They are out there scraping community forums, combing through niche industry publications, and cross-referencing information to find the absolute truth. They're not going to just blindly trust the marketing copy you put on your homepage. They need undeniable proof from the wider digital ecosystem.
To build this machine trust, you need something called contextual co-occurrence. Think of it like digital word of mouth. Your brand literally needs to be mentioned alongside real industry pain points out in the wild. You've got to actively generate authentic discussions about your brand on third-party sites like Reddit and Quora. You need to secure digital PR mentions that tie your specific solution directly to the very problems your buyers are complaining about. That's how LLMs learn to associate your brand as the definitive go-to answer.
All right, Section 4, Google's EEAT evolution and adapting to AI overviews on the search engine results page.
Okay, let's be clear, Google search isn't dead by any stretch, but the rollout of AI overviews has totally changed the game. Those generic top-of-funnel, how-to, informational posts we all used to churn out, yeah, they are now instantly summarized by Google's AI at the very top of the page. It's turning organic click-through rates into a complete ghost town. To beat the bot here, you must provide deep, highly authoritative human experiences that an AI simply cannot synthesize from thin air. You've got to ditch the generic articles and pivot hard into proprietary data, bold industry opinions, and really granular, deep-dive case studies.
This right here is absolutely crucial. Original proprietary data is pretty much the only surviving currency in traditional SEO right now. You have to give Google's algorithm original insights that it literally has to rank, because there is no other way for an AI to generate that unique human experience or pull that specific data set.
Finally, Section 5, the multi-surface workflow. Basically, how do we execute all of this without losing our minds?
Now, you might be sitting there thinking you need to triple your marketing budget to pull this off across all 3 surfaces. You don't. No way. You just need a highly unified workflow. And this brilliantly illustrates how to do it in 3 steps using just one piece of core content. Step 1. Shoot a short, super high-value video answering a specific buyer pain point and optimize it for TikTok and YouTube with on-screen text and captions. Step 2. Embed that exact video into a deeply structured, data-rich article on your site loaded with those proprietary insights to nail Google's EEAT standards. Step 3. Take the best insights from that article and seed them into niche trade publications and Reddit threads to build that contextual co-occurrence for ChatGPT and Perplexity. Boom! One core idea, structurally optimized for 3 distinct surfaces.
It all really comes down to this one powerful idea. Stop fighting over Google's shrinking real estate. The pie there is getting smaller as AI overviews take over the screen. Instead, you've got to start optimizing for the entire search ecosystem. That is exactly how B2B brands are going to continue to capture high-intent search traffic and actually generate leads in this SEO 2.0 era. I want to leave you with a direct, slightly provocative challenge right from our source material. I highly encourage you to do this literally the second this explainer ends. Open up Perplexity or ChatGPT and ask it a non-branded transactional question. Ask, who are the best vendors for? And just plug in your specific niche. Look at the response. Are you recommended? Because if you aren't, your digital footprint is missing the entity structure and the third-party crowd proof that these LLMs absolutely require. It is time to get out there and start building that machine trust. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on this deep dive into multi-surface SEO. I really hope this gives you a completely fresh perspective on how to architect your brand's digital presence going forward.